I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those times, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713 through the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and honest, fine rider. I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those times, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, I get those goosebumps every time.
We're back. Final review show of this season. And what a great day to be an Evertonian, Chris, isn't it? Because for one reason and one reason only.
Everyone in our house is buzzing.
3, 2, 1. Anthony Gordon running down the wing. Gordon makes that Geordie sing. Gordon, we're all going to Madrid. Yes, that worked perfectly. It worked even better in rehearsals, Chris.
It was better. Yeah, it was better behind the scenes, wasn't it? It was.
Hope everyone is good. Yes, this is the Newcastle channel, not an Evertonian one. So but yeah, it was a good day in your house, Chris. They got to stay up. So well done to Everton on that front. But we are here to talk about Newcastle and our final game of the season, of course, with top 4 and Champions League confirmed for next season. As we all know, I won't even play the music yet. I'll play it at the end. How was your day, first of all, Chris?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, as I say, emotions were running high. As I shared with you pre-show, unfortunately, I didn't actually watch our match because for once, I couldn't put my foot down. I was like, listen, I went to put the match on and they were like, are you messing? So we had to watch the Everton game, obviously because my lad is a blue and my wife is a blue. So yeah, it was quite stressful for them at one point. Obviously, when Leicester went 1-0 up, it was. I thought my wife was going to start crying. Actually, Lisa, because she literally looked distraught. Because last few weeks she's been going, so are we down or what? How's it work? Like what's happening? And today was very easy because it was just a case of if you win, you're staying up. If you don't win, then you're relying on other teams not to win. So yeah, we were going through that all the emotions. But yeah, in the end, Everton ended up staying up. They did enough. To be fair to them, they played quite well actually during the game, considering all the pressure they had on them. But yeah, I had a brilliant afternoon. Weather's been nice. Had a couple of beers earlier, which was lovely. And yeah, obviously, we've managed to get a point at Stamford Bridge, which is not to be sniffed at. So yeah, it's been a good day. And how nice, Daz, was it for all of this end of season drama? And we were just like
in the sidelines, yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
Exactly, Chris. And of course, you have a bank holiday, so you're all off tomorrow. Our bank holiday in Ireland is next week, so we've got to go to work tomorrow. But let's talk about this game. And here was the Newcastle squad. Yeah, of course, there was going to be some changes with a few injuries, a few people arrested. It was a long, hard season, so a few got their chance to shine. And I thought our bench was very interesting. You had 5 players on there that have either never played or barely played for us. Very, very interesting. But we had to put on a very decent side to face the mighty Chelsea, who had not had the best of seasons, has to be said. But yeah, bigger things to come for them next season, with Poch waiting in the wings. Probably will be announced next week, and yeah, they'll be one to watch next season because they're not going to be in European competition. And we will look at all the league stuff later on where everyone finished. But and then the other squad that everyone was talking about was the Brazil squad, because you'd see there Mr. Joe Linton. Mr. J7, Mr. Big Joe, in there in the Brazilian squad, and fair play to him. Well done, Big Joe. Big Joe in the Brazilian squad. Lovely to see him in there with Bruno. So yeah, he might be going to the next World Cup. The way things are going for him. So lovely. Let's see how that turns out. But yeah, let me walk you through the game, Chris. I wasn't going to embarrass you saying that you didn't watch it, but now you have to listen to me to talk about it. And I must admit, my streams were dodgy. I was moving from one to the other because it was just so bad. I was even tempted to abandon ship and go watch the Everton game or the Leicester game instead, because it was driving me that mad. But anyway, 2 minutes in for the first half, Isaac had a shot saved. A nice little move there, ASM. 8 minutes. Yes, it is that man, Anthony Gordon. Flash, nice move with ASM down the wing, passed it out to Anderson, who did it, went in the overlap, and tap in Tony. Anthony put it in. Anthony Gordon, that is, and yeah, lovely goal. He's first goal for Newcastle, and he said after the game as well in his little post-match interview that that when he joined, he felt like he was playing catch up. So it's all about the I think he's under 21 Euros coming up, so he'll be fit for that, and he'll be in pre-season with Newcastle, so he'll be flying next season. We said before this channel, he's one for next season. I can't believe some people were trying to write him off. Crazy. Anyway, shots ran in on the Chelsea goal. Then on the 12th minute, Dubravka made a brilliant save from Thiago Silva and put it out for a corner. 26 minutes, Sterling's goal, and Newcastle's defense kind of disappeared, and especially down that in the left back position, they kind of just fell asleep. Sterling put the ball in, but it did come off trips and went into the goal. Well, you can't blame trips for that. It was the opposite side that was at fault there, if you ask me. And then at 31 minutes, pull back from Gordon, Miggy wide. He's a few of those in that first half. 35 minutes, ASM shot blocked. 36 minutes, great move by Newcastle. Again, Miggy poor shot. At 43 minutes, ASM, great work. Miggy misses again. Drove me mad. Miggy, I did not have the shooting boots on. It was old Miggy. It wasn't new Miggy that was there in that first half. Anyway, and then in 45 minutes, save from Dubravka and off the line by Target. A great save by Dubravka, who had a really good game actually. Then so that brought us to. And then actually, I should have showed the pictures with Flash and his goal and the celebration with Anderson there. He was really enjoyed that one. That took us to half time. So then into the second half, Newcastle made the brighter start. ASM and sorry, 69 minutes. ASM and Gordon were off. Wilson and Murphy came on. 74 minutes. Target and Anderson were off. Byrne and Lewis Miley. Lewis Miley became the youngest player to play for Newcastle at 17 years, and I can't remember any of the details, but he's young, and so he made his debut for Newcastle on the 77th minute. There was a penalty claim where the ball came off. I think it was Byrne. I can't remember now, but it wasn't a clear handball or anything like that. But Newcastle still were lucky enough to get away with it. No penalty for Chelsea. 79 minutes off the bar from Miley. Lewis Miley, he clipped the bar as well. That would have been unreal if he scored in his debut. 87 minutes, Isaac come off. Jamal Lascelles, come on. So that was nice. He got to run out. 90 minutes. Byrne loses the ball. Chelsea should have scored there, and that was pretty much it. All in all, it was 1-1. The final score in the season game. Both sides. It like at one stage actually in the first half, Man United were 1-0 down, so we were in that. And we were 1-0 up, so we were in that third spot. But then when we went 1-1, and then Man United came back, and then they eventually bet Fulham. So it wouldn't have mattered either way. We finished in fourth spot in the league. What do you think of my summary, Chris?
I loved it. Yeah, no, very comprehensive as always, and I don't expect any less, mate. Always a really good summary. I think, do you know what? Like today's game, it didn't really mean anything. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that we obviously wanted to finish third, we wanted to beat Man United, but as it turns out, Man United won anyway, so it was out of our hands. But to go to Stamford Bridge and get a point, it's never a bad thing. And I just think it's a nice way to cap off the season. Anthony Gordon scoring a really, a vital goal for him in terms of his, future at Newcastle. Yes, he's only new, and yes, some people have been getting on his back a little bit. So breaking that his duck and getting his first goal for Newcastle is brilliant for him. So I'm made up about that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Daz. Does that mean that we are the joint best defensive team in the league? Because City conceded, didn't they? And we conceded as well, but it was just the goal. So I assume we've attained that status of being, the joint best defensive team in the league as well.
Well, if I'd known there was a quiz, Chris, I would not have turned up tonight.
I think that's what I heard
know.
before the game. So, I mean, people in the chat, if I'm wrong, call me out. But I think that means we finished with the joint best defense in the league.
Yeah, I don't really do stats. I just like to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could well could be the case. I'm sure someone in the chat will confirm that with you, Chris. All right. Just so people know as well, Pete was at the game and he is making his way back, so he should be along shortly. So he will join us as well. So we get another perspective of someone that watched the game, maybe, because he was in attendance. But yeah, Chris, maybe we look at because before we go to the table, I want maybe we see, is there anything in the chat that we want to get to first?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some questions here. I mean, first and foremost, we've had a super sticker off somebody called Vok. So Vok, Thank you very much, mate.
Hang on, Chris. Hang on.
Super chat received.
You like it? You like that? People were complaining about my buzzer.
What did that say? Sort of received.
Super chat received.
Super chat received. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
You like that. Yeah, no, I had another one.
On that.
Yeah, people hated the last one. I was like, that noise, and I was like, okay, I can't keep playing that noise. So yeah, so this is a new one. We'll try it for a while. I'm sure
do it again. It's quite a sexy voice, that, isn't it? Go on.
Well, here we go. It's going to go wrong now. Here.
Super chat received.
Well, maybe not sexy. It's more computerized, isn't it? Maybe.
Hang on. Turn your camera to the poster.
Oh.
Super chat received.
That works better. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, it does.
Back to Rock. Thank you, Rock.
Rock. Yeah, Rock. So, mate, sorry we went off on one then, didn't we? Rock says, "Hey guys, what a season. Any opinion on Eddie saying we've probably got 100 million to spend? Surely he's downplaying that." Now, I haven't heard that, Daz. I haven't heard Eddie say that. But if that is what he said, as Rock says, what do you make of that?
I didn't hear him say it, but I saw it wrote by Craig Hope somewhere that he said that. But Eddie Howe, he's not going to go say, "Oh, we have 500 million to spend." He's got to say something that sounds realistic as well. He's that's I think that's the minimum we're going to be spending now.
Yeah.
And as well as that, he can't go out and say, "Oh, we've got 250 million to spend," because everyone else goes, "Right, up our prices," and anyone that if Newcastle comes stiff, because they will anyway. So especially when they see that we're in the Champions League, he only seems to be wants to go for a certain number of players, and they're going to be quality players that he goes for, and he wants to try and keep some of the more established players as well that we will probably offload in Squad Game 3. The price is right, but he's saying he wants to keep. I'd hope if he does try and keep them, some of them don't have squad numbers, and he's going to bulk out the squad some other way. But and they stay on in a coaching role because they are very, very valuable in that sense. But what do I think of it? Yeah, he's playing it down. I'd agree with Rock.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I can't ever imagine. I know this sounds odd. I can't ever imagine Eddie Howe putting a price on it because he is so, he keeps his cards close to his chest, doesn't he? So the fact that he's saying 100 million, it's leaving me thinking, well, like you, there's no way we've got less than 100 million if that's the case. And that's like the equivalent, I don't know, of going to a shop and saying you've only got a fiver when you've got 20 quid in your pocket, but you just don't want to say you've got more than what I mean? I just don't get why he's saying, "Oh, it's probably about 100 million." I just can't imagine him saying that. So,
Yeah.
again, if anyone can expand on that quote, please do, because it just doesn't sound like an Eddie Howe thing to do or say.
You know that clip that's on the internet where the guy, this older man, goes into the shop and he's buying a can of drink, and he goes,
Yeah.
and they go, "How
He
much is it?
slams down the table.
£2, 50p."
Yeah.
Fuck off or something like that.
Fuck
He
off.
walked out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm thinking, if we go out, I mean, Eddie Howe said the other day, didn't he, about he was asked, "Oh, do you think any of the signings that you may potentially make would the fans would class them as marquee signings?" And he was like, "Yeah, I reckon so." Like, if we go and spend like 60, 70 million, are we then gonna go, "Oh, we've only got 30 million left," and like no other clubs are gonna go, "Oh, they've only got 30 million left." It just sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've thrown us there, Boch. I like it. I like it though. I do like it.
Yeah. No, speaking on, because Rock has brought it up about, we're going to be going into fully loaded transfer show mode right after this, as in tomorrow. We've got two shows coming up this week, so I'll mention them now while we're on. So,
Yeah, go for it.
Mr. Controversial, Sean is back with us tomorrow night, 7:30. So stay tuned for that. We always like to kick off our transfer windows with Sean, because it kind of, we go broad and then we try and narrow the gap as we go through the season. And all that's Monday tomorrow at 7:30. Then we've got Mr. Mango, Mr. Anthony and Antonio Mango coming in with us. And what we've done with Antonio is we've given him a task and focus on these 4 positions, and he's going to come back to us with suggestions of who Newcastle could potentially look at in those positions. Now, again, and that one's the one, we're not saying that Newcastle will be go after these players, but it's suggestions that he has from, he does a kind of a lot of scouting on the youth side of things. So players for the future, really. So interesting to see what Antonio comes with on that. So make sure to stay tuned for that one and to get mangoed on Tuesday night, again at 7:30. And then we'll have more during the week when we allocate, because we have to fit in squad game 3 as well pretty soon. So sorry, back to the questions, Chris.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. No, it's good to plug the shows coming up so all the viewers know exactly what we've got planned. I'm just looking for a comment from Paul Gallant. I've got something in the chat from Paul. There we go. There it is. So Paul Gallant, firstly, congratulations. I think Paul was probably one of the only Newcastle fans who thought that we could possibly finish in the top 4. So
definitely the first.
Yeah. Big shout out to Paul, who says, "Very good evening, everyone on screen and all in chat. I told you top 4. Yes, you did, Paul. And £80. So we put £10 on at 7-1. And £80 is going to the Newcastle Food Bank. So congratulations with that, Paul. And very generous of you to do so, mate. And Paul has actually asked us a favour here, Daz, and said, "Loads Mag, I need help before the new season with subscribers. My first time, I am asking." So I think what Paul's saying is, anybody who hasn't already subscribed to Paul Gallant's YouTube channel, please consider doing so. Paul is an avid Newcastle fan, and he's always regular in the Loaded Mag chat. So Paul, I hope that helps, mate. And yeah, anyone
and also Paul is a decent musician as well, because I've seen one or two of his clips. He's well able to play the guitar. So go check out all those historical back catalogue that Paul has there.
Yeah, definitely. Now we've got Ian McKenna. I think it's tongue in cheek, this one, but he's put an easy question to start off, boys. Who's your player of the season? And we're going to have to ask this to Pete when he joins as well. But Daz, kick us off, mate. In your opinion, tattoos aside, who is your player of the season?
I don't know. I thought I'd sit down and think about this, and we may have a show and kind of doing a kind of awards thing, but I don't know. I know the whole story that George Culkin had, and he asked people on Twitter who their players is. I don't really know. There's so many put in a really massive performance, and at different times of the seasons they were absolutely unbelievable. Like, do you pick someone that was in the team and the full season? It is hard to pick, because you could. There's so many. I can't pick one now.
You could make arguments, couldn't you?
You can make arguments for loads of them. For Nick
Paul.
Oh,
here you go, Daz.
For Trippier, for Botman and Cher. probably wouldn't pick Dan Byrne because even though he did a really good job at left back, that's the one position first position I want filled in the summer. So, well, he had a brilliant season. He scored vital goals for us at certain times. So, in the midfield.
I'm gonna rephrase this, Daz, and we'll keep it as well because obviously we'll do our final season awards as you say. We probably will do a Player of the Season show, but I'm going to ask you who's your final five? Who are the five that are in consideration for you?
Okay.
Player of the Season.
Okay. Throw Isaac in there. Is he on yours?
No.
No,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, I put Trippier in there for his leadership qualities.
Trippier's in there.
And I want to say Bruno, but he tailed off a bit for the last because of the injury. I think you get more out of him. Willock and Longstaff maybe should go in there. I'm going to say Schär and Botman.
Yeah, it's fair.
Did I say Nick Pope?
No, you haven't said Pope yet.
Okay, put Pope in as well.
Okay.
I know.
So you've got Schär, Botman, Trippier.
I didn't want Joe Linton in there.
See,
I can't pick now. I can't even pick five.
And then look at Miggy.
Yeah,
Miggy on that scoring one.
For those portions of seasons, I can pick out the most memorable moment for me though, and it's Isaac's run. Was it against Everton? That run that he ran through everyone. That was the highlight of the season for me. That was just amazing.
That was special. Yeah.
But
yeah, it's difficult. I think if I had to pick me five now, thinking about who would be in my potential for Player of the Season, I think it'd be Trippier, Botman, Sean Longstaff, Joe Linton, and probably Callum Wilson. But I feel harsh on Miggy.
Yeah, Wilson. I should have put Wilson in there I'm putting Schär in there because the first game of the season and first goal of the season where I was there live as well. He got that goal and like he's someone that in the past I kind of wrote off in the Bruce era, but he's just he's made an unbelievable comeback under Eddie Howe. So there's so many. You could make arguments for every player. Well, for most players. You could have 11. Sorry, move on from that question, Chris.
No. I'm just looking here. So Bobby's saying no one mentions Pope for Player of the Season, but you've seen us countless times. Yeah, Bobby, it's a good point. Mate. I'm just having another look at all the other things, just to see what other people are saying. So Andrew Bolam says, I think you'd have to say Bruno and Trippier have been the most influential. Yeah, I couldn't disagree, mate. Couldn't disagree. David Cook, he says J7's been consistent throughout the season. Totally agree. Yeah. Do you want to do for life? Come on, Daz. We know you're picking. Oh, here we go. Here's one from Lisa Mole. Here we
Sale
go.
of the season.
Favorite Toon goal of the season?
Hey, I can't do this now. I need to look back. I can't remember.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. I'm trying to think what goal really stood out for me.
Murphy's goal where he shocked himself. Yeah.
I mean, that Tottenham first 20 minutes was that's probably the highlight of the season for me, those first 20 minutes against Tottenham, because I've never witnessed that as a fan before. Like, I've never seen such dominance.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah. That really blew my mind.
That's what we were talking about to Pete Graves there recently, and he was saying how when he sat down in his seat, he'd scored one, and then when he looked up again, he scored a second goal. It was that. He'd only got to his seat. His little boy was the mascot that day. Right, Chris. Well, you're still looking at questions. I'm going to bring up the table and let's talk about where we all finished. So this is the table. So we obviously know Man City won the league. Arsenal in second. Arsenal, they did kind of throw it away. They were so far ahead. They ran out of steam, really. Jump in with any comments on any particular team here, Chris. We'll go right through everybody. Man United, I was hoping we would finish ahead of Man United. That was my dream at the start of the season. But I thought that would be happening down around here, the section of the table, that we'd finish ahead of Man United down here. But no, Man United, they did well in getting rid of Ronaldo in the end, and they got to a cup final, and they also in the FA Cup final next weekend. But they're a big club anyway. But we're the standout of the season in what we did, getting top four and getting into the Champions League, coming back after 20 years away. And from where we were last season and before Eddie Howe came in to where we are now is just absolutely unbelievable. And all to look forward to a massive summer ahead and into the Champions League, starting from the draw onwards. We'll soak up everything and enjoy everything. But we'll be back again anyway. But the first time is always the best. Liverpool had has finished strong in the league, but they had a disastrous start. Sure, your red mates, Chris, are disappointed with how that all worked out to them.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely gutted, mate. They're trying not to seem too down in the dumps over it, but I know deep down it's going to hurt, especially when that Champions League draws is it? Did you say that it was the 31st of August? The Champions League draw.
The 31st of August when the
Yeah,
Champions League draw will be.
that's when it's going to hurt.
It's going to. Now I wish I put in my little clip of Jurgen Klopp going, congratulations. I have that somewhere, but I'll never find it now. But yeah, let's go back to the table. So yeah, disappointing for them. Haha. Let's move on. Brighton had a brilliant season. Qualifying for Europe. And the Europa League. Well done to Brighton. They'll do their usual thing though. Some players will now depart. Look, I think McAllister's on his way now. Whether he ends up in Liverpool or somewhere else, I'm not so sure. But he is on his way. Lots of tears at the end there today. I think I saw a picture on Twitter of that. But they've had a brilliant season, and they'll recruit well again, and there'll be a test for them as well, though, as well as us being in Europe and not in those amount of games now as well. They had it kind of for them as well. It kind of bunched all the games bunched at the very end, and of course they lost Potter at the start of the season, but getting De Zerbi in, they really kicked on. Aston Villa, these are going to be dark horses next season. I think really, really good in the season for Villa. I know Rich Sutherland is delighted that they got into Europe. That they're back in Europe, and well done to Villa. Emery's got them taken, and they'll be ones to watch and let's see what they do in the transfer market as well. Yeah. Spurs, jump in here. Any comments, Chris, on any particular team? Because I'm just going to kind of run through everybody. Spurs, it's poor season from Spurs. Even though they had a good win today, they finished off poor Leeds. But look, it'll be very interesting to see now if Kane is on his way out there, and then what they do with that, and who they're going to bring in as manager, because everyone seems to be turning down that job. And as they did before, everyone kind of running away from it now, and no one wants that because they know they're in a downward trajectory. Our Spurs, Brentford, good, very good season. Like this, the set up, and any season they set up, it's very good. Brentford, and the whole Tony thing. It's going to be interesting next year how they get on without him. Fulham, very good season. Again, staying up with the Premier League. They were a yo-yo kind of club. So missing Mitro for so long affected their final placing really. But 10th is unbelievable finish for them. So well done, Fulham. Palace, they had to bring they brought Roy back, didn't they?
Roy back, yeah. On the job.
He kept them up, yeah. At that time, Patrick Vieira gone, so it'd be again. I don't think that the idea would be Roy into next season. It'd be interesting to see what they do. There's any talk yet of who's going to come in there?
No, I've not heard anything, Daz. I mean, they're going to have to bring someone in because I don't think Roy's. Well, that sounds terrible. I don't think Roy's got another season in him. I don't think he'd want it. For another reason I wouldn't have thought. And I think Palace will probably want to go in a new direction. Interesting to see who that could be. Could be a Graham Potter. Who knows? Graham Potter's probably got a pick of a few clubs, actually, hasn't he, for next season?
Yeah. Sure has. I wonder
Mm.
would he chance Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, if
No.
Spurs go for him, why not? I mean, there's talk of Brendan Rodgers going to Spurs, which
Okay.
could link up well, I suppose.
Yeah.
You've got Brendan Rodgers free for the job. You've got Graham Potter free for the job. You've got Patrick
Steve
Vieira
Bruce.
free for the job. Steve Bruce. If anyone fancies Steve Bruce, he's there. And there's still talks that I've heard over the past 48, 72 hours that if Everton stays up, that Dyche might be on his way out as well. Everton might want to go in a new direction. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Mm, mm.
I think Dyche should do a job for them. You keep them in the
Yeah,
league again,
no,
I
I
think.
agree. I
But
agree. Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
they have that because we're jumping to Everton now, but they have that case. Isn't there like a FFP issue still surrounding them, Everton?
Yeah. I mean, that's not going away, I don't think.
No, no.
Whether there'll be a points deduction, I don't know. But yeah, the Everton are being looked into. I suppose people are arguing though that, Man City have got over 100 charges against them. So people would say,
Yeah.
well, maybe you should deal with Man City first before Everton. But who knows? Who knows?
Okay, we'll continue on down to 12th spot. See Chelsea. Former Champions League winners, Chelsea, down there in 12th spot, but and the amount of money they've spent. Now they've had a disaster every season.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
new owners coming in, spending money all over the place. 8-year contracts handed out all over the place as well. Okay, Poch's going to come in. He's going to get rid of some of the players that he doesn't want, and they are going to try and balance the books a bit there. And I know that was some of the talk you had on away days as well. But yeah, major kind of an overhaul needed there. They have everything that they need. They need a striker. Aubameyang did not cut the mustard there at Chelsea.
No,
I saw him
no.
there today with his big, massive medallion sitting on the bench. Like, yeah, no, they need a decent striker there at Chelsea and shift
Mm.
off the midfielders. Right. Wolves were dead and buried at one stage. So little shout out to little Dan. He'll be delighted that Wolves are staying in the Premier League. Yeah, they're following a new manager there. He's doing really well. I can't think of his name, but begins with L. But he's doing really well. So well done to Wolves. West Ham, of course, in the Conference League final coming up, and then Lawless will be delighted with that. He might even decide to hold on to David Moyes if they win that. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
But Bournemouth, yeah, again staying up. Well, fair play to Bournemouth, staying
Mhm.
up this season. They looked dead and buried again at one stage, but Gary O'Neill has done a good job there. Really good job. Even though it tailed off at the end of the season, there a lot of losses. But Forest, fair play to Forest. Okay, they started the season with a whole squad of players that no one didn't know each other. So it's with uh, Steve Clark. Yeah, he did
Steve Cooper.
Cooper. I knew it was because I knew it wasn't Steve Coppell. It was Steve
Yeah.
Cooper. Steve Cooper. He's a decent manager.
Yeah.
He should get a run out at a. That's actually someone there now that the likes of Tottenham should give a chance to. He wouldn't be fashionable enough for them, but he'd do a decent job there at Spurs, I think, and he'd work with what he's got as well. Anyway, Forest, yeah. So far, we look forward to Forest again next season. Good that they got they stayed in the league for the season, and Dore, of course, Dore will be delighted with that, Mr. Dore. Everton, we've talked about a bit already. Yeah. So just about on the last day of the season, Chris. They stay up, they survive again. So they live to fight another day. Major changes needed, and whether they, as you said, whether they stick with Sean Dyche or not, let us see. Then going into Leicester, who relegated today. Absolute disaster from going from Premier League champions down to relegated. And
In 7 years. 7 years.
I know things did not go well there
Mm.
with the helicopter crash and their owner passing away and more as well within that the helicopter crash. But it's just, and then COVID and the the owners, the market they're in, found it difficult to try and spend, put money into spend. So, yeah, I wonder what will happen there. But they've a lot of good players in that team, that a few that we would like to look at as well. But it
Yeah.
just did not click. And you'd wonder if they'd stuck with Rodgers, would he have kept them up? I don't know. It wasn't going well there for a while.
Mm.
Pete probably gives a more a better angle on that, being from Leicester. He'd know more insights. Leeds, I was sorry to see Leeds go down. My sister and her fiance were at this game today, the game with Leeds Spurs. So I am sure that did not go down well. Yeah, shout out to Daniel, who is a little Leeds supporter. But yeah, look, hopefully they did come back again, because I was happy to see them come back that time after being away for so long. But okay, and for Joe from the channel, is who comes on away days as well. I'm sure he's devastated now today. Southampton, who had how did that game finish? Liverpool Southampton, it was 4-4 when I saw it.
Yeah, 4-4, mate. Finished 4-4.
Wow.
So Liverpool were 2-0 up, and then Southampton were 4-2 up, and then it finished 4-4. So yeah, it was topsy-turvy game.
Well, yeah, interesting again with Southampton. There'll probably be a few players that will move on from there, so they need to rebuild. They usually have a good, decent youth team, so they will regroup, and I'm sure make a good stab at trying to get back into the Premier League. But that's enough of me talking about the team. Anthony, you want to focus in there, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the interesting ones for me are Everton and Forest, particularly Forest, because Forest, as you said at the start, they brought in a lot of players, didn't they? And I think some of those players were only on short-term 1-year deals. So the likes of Lingard, he will leave. I very much doubt they're going to pay him another 200 grand a week. I'd be very surprised. And then, I don't know what's going to happen with Keylor Navas. I don't know what's going to happen with. We know what's going to happen with Chris Wood and John Joe Shelby. We know that could actually be to our benefit. That the fact that they stayed up. I know everybody said that the Chris Woods and John Joe Shelby deals were permanent, but who knows? Maybe there was something in there to say that they've got to stay in the league. So the fact that they've stayed up, I'm pretty happy with that. I've got to be honest. But yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty around Nottingham Forest. I think they're going to have to do something similar. They're going to have to bring in new players again, maybe on longer term deals. They'll have more money, obviously, for staying up. Everton have got a big rebuild job. Whether that's Dyche or not that does that, who knows? But particularly Daz, which we haven't even spoke about. We've got Burnley coming into the Premier League. We've got Sheffield United coming into the Premier League, and now we've got Luton.
Luton Town, after yesterday.
So it's. I mean, do you know what? It's funny. I was talking to me lad Callum before about it, and I was saying, maybe Burnley aside, can you see Sheffield United or Luton staying up? Like there seems like a big gulf there for me.
Yeah, Chris Wilder kept them. I know he's well gone now, and I had someone else in there, but he did keep them up before. But yeah, it's going to be a big ask. It always kind of is for clubs coming in from the championship. Yes, I think Burnley will do well as long as they hold on to company, and he seems like an up and coming manager, and he needs to have a year in the Premier League as well. See how he can get on. If he can get them finishing even in the bottom half of the mid kind of table section, I think then it'll open up some doors for him as well. To move on, but it will be a big test for Burnley. Sheffield United and Luton Town will definitely be looking at the favourites for relegation, I think. But you never know. Look, they could work wonders. I know Sheffield United were in some kind of a transfer embargo thing for a while as well. That could have changed now again. But remember the time in January when we were looking to potentially bring in their midfielder that time. But but yeah, there's always a surprise, and you all the clubs always coming up are always kind of the ones to be written off, but they'd have to do something special, I think, in the transfer market to have Premier League, add a bit of Premier League experience to the squads. Interestingly, how you touched on Notts Forest again. Would not I was said there a couple of weeks ago that like to see Notts Forest stay up because they'll come and take some of our players maybe again that we want to offload, but at the same time they have seen they kind of have been a bit burnt by what they got off us in the shape of Chris Wood. He hasn't done an awful lot, and Shelby hasn't done anything for them. So
Yeah.
they might stay clear of our players. But who knows?
Yeah, they could do. Maybe they'd be interested in, the likes of Ryan Fraser, possibly Jamal Lascelles bringing him back, Carl Darlow bringing him back. Who
Yeah.
knows? Two old Nottingham Forest lads. But yeah, I think they'll do similar to what they did this season. I think they'll look for Premier League experience. They'll look for players who can do a solid enough job to keep them in the league. That's what I think Forest will do again. Who knows? They could be trying to poach Leeds players or Leicester players or even Southampton players.
I think they'll be happy with the goalie they have. He's Neuer's. He's I can't pronounce his name, but yeah, he's
Navas.
Navas. Yeah, he's
Stay.
an excellent keeper. Yeah, he's is he on loan?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on loan, mate.
Okay.
I'm sure he's on loan from PSG. So unless Forest want to fork out for him, who knows? But yeah, and it's whether or not he wants to stay, or if any other Premier League clubs come in for him, who knows?
Cool. Well, let's stop talking about the league table for a second because we're going to go to another direction. I know you have loads of things in the chat, but maybe if this fella sticks his hat on, we can talk to him. I don't know, does he want to come on without his hat on? Yeah, we'll bring him on anyway.
I haven't got it. I haven't got my hat.
What time did you call it? You didn't lose the hat in the match, did you? You're always losing things.
No, no hat lost, no keys lost, and I had a couple of loading watches that I bumped into that said they were saying to me, "You got your keys, you got everything, is everything all right?" I was like, "Yeah, it's all good, but no, literally, I would have been earlier, but the missus said, "If you're going on to the reaction show, you need to go shop with me on the way out." So I was like, "Okay."
What are you doing to us?
We shook hands. It was a deal. How are you boys anyway? You all good?
All good, Pete. No, well, actually, Pete, it's great to have someone that's watched the match join the show with me. Someone else didn't watch the match.
You don't watch it? Oh, were you watching the Everton game?
I had no choice, mate. I said I was told. Yeah, I went to put the Newcastle match on, and they were like, "Are you messing? You're not putting that on." And I was like, "What?" And then I thought, "I'll give that for this season. I'll give them that. I'll give them that." So I actually watched the Everton game. I've seen a couple of highlights. I watched some highlights afterwards, but yeah, I ended up watching the Everton game, and yeah, that was pretty tense. But yeah, so we've been dying for you to come on, Pete, because Daz had a dodgy stream. I didn't watch it, and then it was like, okay, we're doing a review show, and we're not entirely sure what's going on during the game. So
no, we covered it. I think we covered it.
We covered it.
Yeah, no, we got. Well, let's go then to you, Pete, and just give your reaction on the game. You were there, sitting in there, singing along. We even sang the song at the start, but we can sing it out at the end as well. But
songs?
Yeah, what's the second one? Yeah, the R one. We don't know the R one.
The second, well, it only came in about the 70th minute. But if anyone's heard Arsenal chant the Saka and Emil Smith Rowe, is I like it, oh, here we go. Eddie Howe and Jason to know.
Yes.
And we just sang that from about the 70th minute all the way through the second half like that. And then they stayed behind afterwards. Honestly, I'll get into it. It was honestly one of the best away days I've had. Forget the result, the game. One of the best away days I've had. Being in that away end with those fans, I swear, like even the Chelsea fans, they had Chelsea fans just recording us all game. Like they couldn't believe it. Like anyway. So
cool. Oh, you enjoyed it, Pete. And look at we because we just gone through the table there as well. So where it finished up. So Leeds are relegated. Your hometown club, Leicester, relegated. How do you feel about that? Everton stay up.
I think some of them might be watching, so I don't know how much I can say or get away with, but come on.
And on that note, make sure you like and subscribe, anyone that's watching. Because we forgot to say that as well, Chris. So look at then we'll go directly to the chat, and the chat will kind of direct us to the rest of the way. So what have you got Have you got in the chat?
Yeah, there's loads of comments. So I'll quickly whiz through them. Daz, you're gonna have to play Pete the new tune because Shez says to me, Chris, did you find Stephen Hawking's voice sexy too? Which is a fair comment.
Oh my god!
Mate, I just said I thought it was quite sultry, quite a sexy thing, and then when I listened to it again, I was like, actually, it's maybe not that sexy. But yeah, sexy computer. Would I eat here? It's fair enough. Yeah, maybe that was another one of my criticisms that wasn't quite on the nail. But yeah, go on, Daz, hit it.
Okay, so Pete, you remember the last day when we had a super chat? I had a special sound for on the buzzer sound. So people didn't like that. I got a bit of feedback on that one. So Chris, point your PC at the poster again.
Oh yeah. Oh, hang on about there. Here we go.
Super chat received.
That's the new tune for super chats.
Super chat
What did it
received.
say? Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah, I didn't name it at first either. I was like,
Love it.
super
Oh
chat
my
received.
God. So the other one lasted long then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dread that now. Every time we get a super chat, I'm just gonna hear that voice and go, "Oh, someone's gonna go, Chris, you find that sexy." I've just set it up for the whole season now, haven't I? That's it now.
This will be gone after next week. People will hate this one as well, so I'll have to get rid of it.
Like, get it off. Yeah. Shez also confirms. Yeah, so we do have the joint lowest goals conceded. So thanks for that, Shez. I did think that was right. And Geordie Toon for Life says exactly the same. Chris, that's correct. With a tie with Man City. Paul Gallant, plenty of time for comments like that. Chris, you're awesome. Thank you very much, Paul. We gave Paul a shout out before, Pete. Just Paul was asking for subscribers to his channel. So yeah, and Paul says he's very happy. Thank you, loaded mag. NUFC, the show is shared. So once again, Paul, thank you for sharing the show, mate.
Good, Paul.
Alan Thompson, yeah, Chris, I bet it's the first time the whole house has been happy on the same day for a long time. Couldn't agree more, mate. It's very rare in this house that everyone's happy. Where are we? So, Lisa Mole says, actually, and this is something for us to take away, I think before the start of next season, all the loaded lads should predict in secret how they think we'll do in the 23-24 season, seal them all in envelopes, and then at the end of the season, open them and see who was the closest. I like that.
We should do that. And I did think of that last season. One of us thought of it. If it wasn't me, someone else thought of it. And then, yeah, was it you?
It was me.
Okay, and I think as the season was about to start, and then we said no one had any paper or something.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Could I just ask you, boys?
Yeah.
Chris, you probably won't be able to answer this because you watched the game. But what did you make? If you managed to see it, Daz, what did you make of Lewis Miley?
Yes. Yeah, he's impressive. He's a tall lad as well, actually. Here, the picture of him here. I'll put him up on screen again while we're talking.
I've seen his effort. I've seen his effort at the bar. Yeah. Seen that.
It was an look. It did clip the because the opposite side of the bar, but no, we're looking at to score that. No, I think he's going to be good for us. He's going to be a decent squad player, and then it'll come back to the same question we had about Elliot Anderson. Do we keep him around and he gets some game time, and he will probably need it with European and the numbers and so and so many matches? But also then you ask the question, should we give him? Does he need to go on loan? And that hasn't worked out great for Garen Carroll. But what do we do?
Garen Carroll, I would say, is adjusting to living this side of the world effectively. So I do think he'll get better. Like, to be fair, Lisa said part of what I was going to say. Lewis Miley did not look out of place in that midfield today. I thought he was really, really good. I thought he was tidy on the ball. I thought he broke up play in crucial moments a couple of times, won the ball back, and he moved the ball, manipulated it really well. And he was coming up against like Enzo Fernandez, 100 million, like Kovacic, Champions League winner. and he did not look out of place. And you could see very quickly that the players started to trust him with the ball. You know, with a young player, you want to get him on the ball early, so you get the cheers and all the rest of it going because he's a young lad making his debut. But then they kind of just kept the ball ticking, but not kept it away from him. But you boys have played football before. It's like you have to have a trust with players. Like if you're going to give them the ball, they're going to be able to all the rest of it. And very quickly you saw Bruno giving the ball, and players started to knock the ball to him and feel that they could trust him on the ball. And I was genuinely really impressed. I really was. And yeah, I really do see a bright future for him. Like you said, Daz, he's a big lad. He's a big lad, so physically he doesn't look out of place. I think he's only like 17.
Yeah, 17, and I can't remember.
He fills one of the quota, doesn't he? If we're talking about players who've come through the academy.
He will. You're absolutely right, 100%. Like 17. Like to be fair, he could be in the squad for the Champions League and the Premier League and not have to be registered because of his age.
Yeah.
But because he's an academy player, he hits the quota.
Hey, great age.
It's a great age, and I was really impressed. I didn't say too much about the game, but we could have won that 5-6-1. Miggy could have had 4 goals.
Yeah.
But equally, at times, they missed a few chances as well. It was kind of it was very much 2 teams that were on the beach. But there was some good performances out there today, I have to say. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Peter. No, I was going to say, I in my match little recap, Miggy right before halftime, he had about 3 chances that he should have buried probably all 3 of them, especially the last one. But yeah, new Miggy would have buried all those, but he's kind of reverted a bit back to old Miggy. But again, it's the last game of the season; it doesn't matter. It didn't in the end of it because Man United won their game. It didn't matter if we would anyway. So
he played well though. That's the thing. Like he missed chances, but that front line, he's at wow. That guy just at times he was destroying Thiago Silva. He's a class defender. Maxi, I thought played really well. I thought Maxi was brilliant.
Yeah, he was
really good. I thought Gordon was brilliant. What did we say, boys? Wait until next season. Send it in January. Wait until next season, and what a way to sign off the season by getting a goal. And he looked good. He looked good today. If we can get him a full pre-season under his belt with us and not with Everton, we're laughing. He'll become a good player for sure.
Pete, I've got 3 questions to bring you up to speed because there's a few comments in the chat, and it's just so that I can kind of round it off. So I'll leave the other one to last. But the 2 quick questions are: what is your moment of the season? And just to give you an idea, so we've had some comments. Bobby's talking about Shah's goal against Forest at the very start of the season. What a goal that was. Derek Sharp saying Murphy's goal after Isaac's run versus Everton, which is what Daz said. I'm putting the wrong way. There we go. We've got Lisa Mole. She says Almiron versus Fulham for me, I think, which was a fantastic goal. What else have we got? We've seen and Pete, me and you were there at the Molineux, the ASM volley. To pull it back for us and make it 1-1. What would be your moment of the season? Just to put you on the spot a little bit, if you can recall one.
Ooh. Moment of the season.
Daz, remind me, what did you say for yours?
Yeah, while Pete's thinking, but I went for Isaac's run. That was an amazing run against Everton, and then you cheated, Chris, because you said the first 20 minutes against Spurs. That's cheating. That's more than a moment.
I did. It was a hell of a moment. You know what I mean?
I have to say, everyone's moments that they've mentioned, definitely. I can't remember who said about Shaw's goal against Forest. For me, that kickstart the season. Me, you, Chris, were like just rolling around on the stairs, jumping, just going absolutely mental with loads of others in the Gallagher. But at that one, but that started everything.
And myself and Richie were at that game as well. So the four of us met.
We were.
I met all you guys, apart from Martin, who I met later at only at the Southampton game the other day. But so that was, and the first game of the season is always kind of nice and sunny and everything like that. It was cool.
I would say I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to say 2 for different reasons. The Trippier free kick against Man City. That was, at that point when that went in, I thought we're here. We're not messing around. We're here to compete. That was a big moment for me. And although it was 3-3 in the end, that was a big moment. And then I would probably say Bruno's goal against Brighton, because at that moment I knew we'd get Champions League football. So although we had to get the point at Leicester to guarantee it, blah blah blah, well, we didn't actually need it in the end. But
that's when we knew it.
For me, that moment when Bruno puts that ball into the net and he makes it 4-1, that's when I knew we got Champions League football. So that was probably my moment of the season. The Trippier one for competitiveness, to show that we're at the table. But Bruno against Brighton.
And then we were also asked. Oh, sorry, Daz, go on, mate.
No, it just shows you as well. Like there's loads of them, and everyone has their own ones. And especially, I'm sure people link it to, like I did as well a bit, to games they were at and moments for them. But there has been so many great moments this season. I think people back in the day you'd go buy the DVD of the season or something like that. It'd be a nice little DVD to come out with now with all those little moments. Sorry. Back to you, Chris.
No, mate, no, it's absolutely fine. Imagine, by the way, on that subject, imagine when the documentary comes out. How special it's going to be. Looking back on this season, it's going to be brilliant. We would also ask Pete, and we're kind of keeping our cards close to our chest on this one. One, because we need a bit more time to think about it, and 2, because we may end up doing a show on it. But somebody asked us who our player of the season was, and we've had a couple of suggestions in the chat. That Joe Linton was thrown out, Shah was thrown out, Longstaff. I think it was actually Roshi who said Sean Longstaff. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Pope. We had the lot. So we ended up, me and Dad said, well, tell you what, let's do 5. So who would your 5 be? Who are your 5 finalists for player of the season?
I picked 10 in the end, Pete.
Yep, that's carried on.
I'm thinking in my head.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Okay. My 5. 5.
I went 6 in the end, actually. I did 6.
Okay, all right. Let's go 6 then. So let's go with Pope. Pope's had a great season. Probably his best of his career. He'll probably admit to that. Trippier, captain, leader, legend. Sven Botman. Yeah. Sven Botman, debut season in England. Been one of the best performers in the Premier League as a centre back, easily. Big Joe, Brazil call up, amazing. You know what? I might need to go and get me a Brazil top. I'm absolutely made up for that guy getting the Brazil squad. He deserves it. He's been outstanding. Bruno Guimaraes, just because he controls games for us. Again, he was brilliant today. Although his ankle is a problem for me. He struggles a lot with that. And then my number 6 is our number 9, Mr. Callum Wilson. You wouldn't have said it 3 months ago, but his turnaround in form is the reason why we're sitting where we are in the league. His goals have been massive for us. And top scorer, number 9, 18 goals for the season. He's been big for us this season. So they're my 6.
It's gonna be a good chat when we do the show, isn't it? It's gonna be a good chat because it could be that we all end up picking different ones because there's been lots of candidates. Just to add in as well, was I here? Great shout. I think he's got his games mixed up, but he'll know what I mean. Isak against Everton. when both he and the keeper stood with their hands on the hips and watched it go
Yes.
in. But I think it was
West
West Ham,
Ham.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was West Ham.
Yeah,
Fabianski, but that was a good
Great
moment.
moment.
that was a brilliant moment. Yeah.
Yeah. James Matthews says, James Matthews Photography, he says the only team in the league to go unbeaten in London this year as well. That's a hell of a start.
Wow.
That's a hell of a start, considering
You
we
remember-
had such a bad record.
Yeah,
Max.
the record there was unbelievable before.
Yeah,
Imagine, remember back in the early 2000s when when London was referred to as hoodoo. There was a hoodoo.
Never win in London.
Go in there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then Pete, your third and final question. Who was your man of the match today?
Great question.
And I'll ask Daz as well. I can't really answer. So
You probably pick Pickford or someone like that, Chris, would you?
Oh my God. Oh dear. Man of the match. I would probably say Martin Dubravka.
Oh, there we go. Just fully enough.
He was my man of the match too.
Martin Dubravka was. I forgot to mention him just a second ago. He was brilliant today. He was brilliant. Some of the saves he made were top. Good with the ball at his feet. Good distribution. Made some top saves. There was just a little bit of uncomfortableness from the fullback areas, both fullback areas. Neither one in particular, but just their balls into the box. We just panicked a little bit and we allowed them to get balls into the box. But he made some good saves, some big saves today. Look, hey, if he wants to stay at Newcastle, I said this to you boys last summer. He should be number 2 and make him stay as number 2. We shouldn't have let him go to Man United. If he's as good a number 2 as you're going to get out there. If Nick Pope gets injured, so for me, if he wants to stay next season, I'd keep him.
Yeah, that
might go and replace.
That's a good point, Pete. First of all, yeah, I agree. He was my man of the match as well. He made two absolutely brilliant saves. One where he knocked it out for a corner, another one as well. So he gets my man of the match. I had him down as a 9 rating actually, and we did say before when he went to Man United and he came back, we were saying, oh no, he can go. He's never. But he put in a really good performance today, and I agree. He would be a decent keeper to have in our squad. And like maybe you say to him as well, you get all the League Cup games or something like that, or just the kind of incentive to keep him for him to stick around or something as well. You're going to have some kind of cherry for him to stay, and that's something like we could potentially win next season. You never know. Might get to the final again at least. But
got a lot of love today. Dubravka got a lot of love from the fans. A lot of love. So did Maxi as well.
How wants to keep him? From what he said the other day.
Would you boys keep, I think you've talked about it, Daz. Would you keep Martin Dubravka, Chris?
Quality wise, yeah. I think when he came back, he made a mistake, and obviously his media team didn't really advise him very well, because as soon as he joined Man United, I always remember there was a picture of him sat in like an armchair saying, "Come on, boys," and he was literally he'd literally left like 4 hours ago. So that really disappointed me. Particularly, I think as well because he called them United, which I don't know. Again, I don't know whether that was a little dig or not. But he's got his head down. He seems fully embraced. Whenever you've seen the team photos, he's been getting a little bit of football live in there, probably more than he got at Man United. And really, let's be honest, lads. If he's involved at a top 4 club, even if he gets cup games, and who knows what will happen with Nick Pope. If Nick Pope's out injured, he's then thrust into the main number 1 shirt. I think he could do worse than stay at Newcastle. I mean, quality wise, yeah, fantastic number 2. I agree, Pete. There's not many better number 2s out there, I wouldn't imagine. And it's one less squad place to fill. So yeah, if he wants to stay and he's committed and he's willing to, ride it out and try and challenge Pope for the number 1 shirt, I'd have no problem keeping him.
Yeah, I've changed my moment of the season. I'm sorry.
Oh.
And it's not an in-game moment.
It says yellow card.
I don't know how much you guys would have seen, but for anyone that was there today, the after the game was the best I've ever seen. Honestly, we sang and sang and sang. We stayed long. Put it this way: we stayed longer than Chelsea fans did. Now, normally it's the last home game of the season. Your fans stay and you clap your players off. We stayed longer than they did. They'd all gone, and we were still there singing. And the players,
No wonder you're late.
Yeah, exactly. The players stayed. Our players stayed on the pitch longer than the Chelsea players did, and that tells you a lot about where they are as a club right now. But honestly, we sang and sang and sang. We sang the Eddie Howe Tyndall song. We sang the Anthony Gordon song. We're singing loads of different songs. But the moment for me this season typified everything. Is as the players were walking off, Eddie Howe waves to the fans, turns round, and gives the biggest fist pump, double-handed to the crowd. I swear, honestly, that's probably the most emotional I've been in the away end. Like I was emotional, like genuinely at that moment, because you could tell how much it felt. You could tell how much it meant to him, and the fans literally like went absolutely crazy. It was like we'd scored a goal. We were just going absolutely mad. Like he double fist pumped and like came right up to the front and just gave us a massive double fist pump, and he was like properly going for it. Like it meant so much to him. And then after that was great because they all walked off, and the last two were Sven Botman and Jason Tyndall. So we all think it's over, and all of a sudden, Sven Botman grabs Tyndall, drags him back, and pushes him right to the front in front of everyone. and everyone, he pushes Jason Tyndall to the front, and Jason Tyndall kind of jumps in the air and gives a massive fist pump, and everyone's fucking going mad again. Everyone's just fucking loving it. Honestly, I swear to you, it was the best moment of the season. And it wasn't even anything we did on the pitch, but it just typified everything that this club is about. Unity, connection, love. They appreciate everything that we do for them as fans, traveling all over the country for them. But we appreciate them and what they've given to us this season. And there was that connection there. And like I said to you, Chelsea fans weren't bothered about their own players. There are Chelsea fans either side that were just recording us. We're just recording us and our players looking at what we do, because for all the trophies that they've won right now, Chelsea want what we've got. Liverpool want what we've got.
Totally.
Tottenham want what we've got. Every club apart from your Man Cities want what we have, because they don't. Even Arsenal had a great season, but their connection with their ownership dead. They want them gone. Man United want them gone. We have something so special. We need to harness that. We need to grow and build it. We can never break that. We cannot. Doesn't matter how many trophies we win in the future, how expectations rise, we cannot lose that connection there. It was honestly amazing. I hope someone's captured it, because my phone was playing up at the time, so I didn't film it. But I know people around me were filming it, so it's got to be on social media somewhere. And so you'll see it and you will know what I mean. Like, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, if we do find it, Pete, we put your voiceover behind it. I think that would go really well. There's a little idea for someone.
I swear, I was close to tears. I've never been that emotional, about football, but that meant so much, that moment, because it just shows the journey that we've been on. And the shit that we've had to watch for years and years and years, to see us like that with our manager, our players, our club.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Daz, just to clarify, Ian CR65 says it wasn't Eddie Howe that said it was Craig Hope. Could have 100 million. It was Craig Hope. So that makes sense a little bit.
Yeah, because I did see that his tweet about that. But he must have got that from some interaction with Eddie Howe, because he just didn't pull 100 million from nowhere. When I read that tweet as well, I thought it was from a discussion he had with Eddie Howe, maybe put some post-match. But I'd have to find the tweet, Pete. There's no point. All right, go back in your tweet, Pete, and you'll see Craig Hope's one on that. I think it's it's a starting point. It's not the end.
One player maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
KK maybe.
Yeah. Don't start me off in KK.
I know.
Leave that till tomorrow.
That's why I said it, guys. That's why I said it.
Leave that till tomorrow when this fella comes. When Mr. Sean Casey comes, leave that till tomorrow.
I've got a quick question for you both, actually, from Leslie Stapleton, and this is something we were talking about a bit before, actually, Daz. What happens to West Ham if they win the final? Do they get in Europe next season? Now, I know they definitely get in the Europa League because the winners of the Conference League do get in the Europa League, and that's what Dan Lawless has been saying all season. But does that mean that a seventh place is taken off, or does it just mean that there's an additional place given to West Ham for winning the Europa Conference?
Well, first thing that happens, Chris, is David Moyes gets a 5-year contract, and he actually has to be handed to a contract has to be handed to him by Dan Lawless. So there, that's the first thing that happens. Sorry, Pete, you can give the correct answer.
Hey, that's the dream. That's the dream,
hey, and if they were to lose it, I'm looking forward to tap in Tobes his notes that he's always taken. I'm looking forward to what's on those notes.
Honestly, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I genuinely fear for Lawless because he has gone on the Race for Europe chat. The confidence, the ego that he's coming with at the moment with all of those guys. Potts is getting hammered left, right, and the centre. Tobes, Dan, Errol. He doesn't really come for me because he weren't expected to be here when we're champions of football. But he's gone for everybody, and he is talking like they've already won it. Like like in his mind, they've already won it. They've already won the trophy. So if Fiorentina beat them, I can see him going missing. I could genuinely see him just disappear, no streams, no anything. And you know what Potts is going to be like. He's going to be emergency stream that night. He's going to want to do that. But I think it's 3 teams in Europa League. So it'll be Brighton, Liverpool, West Ham if they get it. I think that's right.
Okay. Interesting.
Wow, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. So that was it for the questions. Just wanted to get all them in, Daz. But yeah,
but Villa still go into the conference next season. That's Rich Sutherland is all happy about that, so that's okay.
I don't know if you saw the tweet from Rich Sutherland. he wants the Battleground Europe now. He can't wait. I'm sure he'll be messaging Tobes because obviously the last one, Tobes was like, "What's he doing here?" Now they're not in Europe, but Tobes will tell you he's happy that they're not in Europe.
Yeah,
but I don't blame him. I don't quite believe that.
Big share. We did go through the table and each team, and we did kind of have a little bit to say about each of the teams. But big changes ahead if they can secure a manager, anyone. Chris, anything else in the chat?
No other things I can see. I'm just quickly whizzing through the comments. Just the ones that we've missed. Obviously, for the last 45 minutes to an hour, I've not been able to do the comments because we've been gabbing about all the comments that we'd already starred. So I'm just quickly whizzing through them.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, you know, while you're looking there, Chris, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about our sponsors.
Go for it, mate.
Because we will continue back with more questions, and we will tell people again what's happening.
I've started a couple, Chris.
Oh, good man.
Right, let's go to the RadiatorShed.com. A shout out to Russ and the Radiator Shed as we put Pete in jail for being late coming back, even though he did tell us in advance that it was going to take him a while to come back from London. So then new pictures everybody from Russ. Oh. Look at these nice radiators. Ooh. They're very fancy. And you can get loads of different colors. Look at all these. Wow. And there's actually more to come. And there's a certain one that people will go mad for. They may even take the radiators out of their house and put in new ones for this.
Where
But
did,
I haven't put that picture up yet because he's still working on that. And it's a very good idea. But sorry, Pete, you wanted to ask a question?
I was going to say, where did those small radiators even go? Like, they look tiny. Where did they even go?
Zoom
They
up
must
there.
they must just be the example ones. I'm assuming. Although there is like in our house, we've got like a bigger window, so the radiators are like they're only so high, so you can do ones that go underneath a large window. So maybe they're those ones. I'm
Oh,
guessing.
Hey, they're good stuff. Because look who bought some,
Look,
and he loves them. He loves them. He can't stop scoring since he got some in his house. Also, a shout out to, as I line myself up, to H2O Bathroom Design Co., the Northeast's largest supplier of Velcro and botch bathroomware. Team Valley Gateshead, over 20 years established, run by the family. Get down to the showroom on 11th Avenue, Team Valley Estate, Gateshead. And if your wives or partners are in the room, ask them to leave now because they're going to want some of this stuff again. So here we go. Here's the new pictures from H2O Bathroom Design Co. You'd be probably better off having something else up on the screen because to say what are you looking at and say something else other than these because they're going to want these. Look at this.
oh,
Amazing, lovely bathrooms here, and they have showers as well. Lovely
at
showers
that.
set up. So yeah, if you're thinking about renovating your bathroom, you know where to go. There's only one place to go. H2O Bathroom Design
Look
Co.
at that.
Class, and those showrooms look
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, they
It
do.
would be nice to walk around there.
God,
that last one that you just put on, Daz, was class.
they're
Love
top
it.
drawer, aren't they? They're top drawer. Yeah.
His and hers there.
They look like hotels.
Yeah,
They
they
do.
do. They do.
They're
Yeah.
like
Well, like
hotels.
hotels I stay in. Yeah, they're
Top
lovely.
10 hotel.
They do. They do.
But right, Chris, anything else?
So Pete has helpfully starred someone's for me. We've got a few transfer ones, but I'm trying to stay off them because I'm trying to build the anticipation for tomorrow. Al Williamson says, listening on the train back from the Irish Mags meetup, what a night. Didn't want to end the season to end, but still cannot wait next year. It's absolutely amazing. Al, couldn't agree more. Thanks
Nice
very
one.
much for tuning in while you're on the train.
Hope that day out went well as well. The second meetup of the Irish Mags. Hopefully, sometime I hope to meet you guys as well. After that, I'm still in the group. There's so many messages, though. It's just very difficult to keep up.
It's a good one for Michael Pomar. He says, which team in the Premier League has the most work to do in the summer? Personally, I'm going Spurs. Their squad is a mess, and they don't have a manager, of course. Who would you boys say? I'll kick it off. I'm going to say Forest because I think a few of their players are going to be out of contract. We spoke before, didn't we, Daz, about Keylor Navas might not be staying. Jesse Lingard will leave. And I think a few of their players are on like 1-year deals. And there'll be some of those players who they've signed and they think, do you know what? We don't really want to keep them. So they're going to have to shift them and bring more players in. Renan Lodi, the left back from Atletico Madrid. Is Felipe on loan from Atletico Madrid? I don't know. They've got so many players. So I think Forest are in for a big overhaul. But what do you think, Daz?
I think Forest are going to be okay because not Steve Clark, not Steve Coppell, but Steve Cooper has it all. He's got a plan there. There will be coming and going, but look, it's not going to be as major as they did at the start of this season. I think they'll have a lot to ship out and a lot of changes. But I would actually, for who has a lot to do apart from the relegated clubs, I would think I'd agree with the comment. I Spurs, I think they have an awful lot because is Harry Kane going to go or stay? Or then what do they do? Their savior will be gone. They still have no manager. No one wants the job. They have no like. I think I can see all these clubs being ahead of them again next season. They have. I think we said, yeah, they need to get someone in and someone in fast to sort out the mess.
Two clubs for me. The club that are sitting 17th at the moment, Everton, they've got a lot to do. I think if they don't invest heavily, which they might not be able to, and there still might be a points deduction there, we don't know yet. They could be right back in the same mess that they've been in the last 2 seasons, potentially. Certainly if they keep the bulk of their squad. The second team that have got a lot to do, I've not even kicked a ball in Premier League football yet, and it's Luton. Because they are not ready for Premier League football, in my opinion. They're not. And I was worried to read this morning before I set out to go to Stamford Bridge that apparently one of the players that they're looking at is an out of contract Andre Ayew, and I'm thinking he can't even kick. He ain't even really properly kicked a ball for Forest, and Forest only just stayed up. So if they're hanging their hopes on him doing a job for them, that's not the type of move that they need. So yeah, they've got a lot of work to do, because I can see them heading straight back down, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, they're the two for me. They've got massive work to do. Obviously, like I said, Spurs at the top of the league, they are an absolute mess, and Liverpool as well. Liverpool have got work to do. If they want to be fighting back for the title again, they need to seriously invest.
They do. I think we did, as we're going through each of the clubs. I think someone like Chelsea will they've got Poch coming in. They've got they need to. You guys talked about it in the weight ratios. They will sort out a bit of that mess with Poch coming in. They'll get offload a whole load of midfielders. They need to buy a striker. They don't have this distraction of Europe. They're going to be someone to watch next season. And that's on the flip side of where they're looking now and where they are going to finish next season. But they have a lot of work to do.
The Madueke looked like a really good player.
Yeah, he did look good.
He was impressive today. He was very, very good. His final product wasn't there, but he caused all sorts of problems.
There's a great one for me. That was class. Toon Poles was involved in that one. Nice one.
You're on mute, Chris.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I was just saying it was funny that. Yeah, but I tried to style that out, the fact I was on mute, but yeah, I failed miserably. But yeah, that was funny that, when everyone, all companies were just writing Nick Pope. It was that was brilliant. That was really, really good. But I'm sure we'll all agree, boys. It's just been a great season, hasn't it? Start to finish, it's just been brilliant.
It has. Yeah, we've been through a lot this season. There's definitely an awful lot more ups than downs this season. So yeah, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad it's over. I know, you didn't want it to stop at one point, but now it's nice for it to give the players a break, let them catch up themselves, let them recover a bit as well. Let the whole madness of the transfer window kick off. Let us look forward to the start of next season. Then look forward to the draw of being back in Europe, not only being back in Europe, but being in the best European competition going, being in the Champions League. That was another one for me.
That was good.
That was great.
But yeah, we've got so much to look forward to into next season. But
don't talk about that, Jimmy. We don't talk about that. He is joking, by the way.
Yeah. Jimmy.
Bruno celebrating his free kick. Or Bruno celebrating the free kick. Yeah, when he just ran over to the fans and he was like, yes! That was great. Even at all. Pete without a hat. What's going on?
There's a good one here, Chris. There's a good one here. This is the moment of the season from Geordie Tune for Life.
Yeah, that's got to be up there. I mean, not my moment of the season, got to be honest, but it's definitely up there. Oh, God. No, it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant. And I just can't wait. I can't wait for the transfer window. Can't wait for the summer. So obviously, you're going to have a break from Newcastle United playing football, but you're not going to have a break from Loaded Mag. Absolutely not. I think
Chris,
we're going to be as busy as ever.
Can you wait about 21 hours? Because it starts in 21 hours back with Mr. Sean Casey, Fully Loaded Transfer Show. We're back. We're refreshed after a long season. We're back again, fully raring to go. Marathon, Fully Loaded Transfer Show nearly every day of the week. But yes, we're back with Sean Casey tomorrow 7:30, and Sean, who had a bit of a run in a bit of running. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And I just thought about both of them have appeared on our intro for Fully Loaded Transfer Show, so that's interesting actually. But yeah, so we're looking forward to getting Sean on tomorrow, and we'll see what Sean has to say. He's been quiet for a while, and he started to rumble again. So let's see what Sean has to say. And then after that, so in about another 24 hours on top of that, we'll be back again with Mr. Antonio Mango, as we said earlier, where we set Antonio a task. Or sorry, Pete, you set Antonio a task. Look at these four positions. Let's focus in on them. Who potentially out there in the world of football would be suited to playing for Newcastle in this positions? And I know Antonio focuses in on the younger players as well. So for potential for the future for Newcastle. So interesting topic of discussion with Antonio on Tuesday. And of course we've got loads more. We've got loads of ideas, and we've got loads of. I know Pete, you've got a few guests as well lined up. And we still have to do our squad game 3. The Price is Right. We will do that in the next week or so. We should do that. And but that's the shows coming.
Just to add in, we've got these are a couple of bits that I missed from earlier. James Matthews Photography says, "Can't wait for our European coverage with La Brandy and El Blaze." That's brilliant. I love that. Brilliant. I love that. And Pete, it seems that you were firmly on the telly this afternoon. I saw Pete on Newcastle Fans TV, says Geordie Soon for Life. I saw Pete on the BBC, says Ian McKenna. Wow. And then Lisa Ball says, I saw Pete sat next to Adam P.
I was next to Adam P. We were up in the upper tier, and Adam P. We were just chatting away. And funny enough, we were like 2 seats away from each other in the ground. So we ended up just standing together and watching the game together. And it was great. Top lad. We were just talking through the game, and obviously we went mad when we scored. But Adam P, top guy. And then the Newcastle Fans TV boys, on the way out of the stadium, I was like, I need to go get my car, otherwise I'm going to get a fine. And these guys are doing their streams. So I just jumped in on Johnny and the boys. As they were midfield.
Rematch.
Yeah. And then I was walking away, and then I saw following me saying, "Oh, and here's the loser from the charity match." I was like, "What are you on about?" I was like, "Hold on a second, come on, man." But no, we will definitely get a rematch on next season for sure. Yeah, it is 100%. On 100%.
Pete is everywhere. His odds have even dropped on him being the next presenter on This Morning with Holly. Pete is everywhere. He could appear anywhere.
No
Hey Pete, this is an interesting one. We'll make this the last question. Michael Pomar says, "Were you impressed with Conor Gallagher today, or were they like me wondering what the fuck does he do and how does he keep on getting in the England squad?" So what were your thoughts on Conor Gallagher, seeing him close up today?
I thought defensively he did an okay job. It was very, very clear that he was there to man-mark Bruno, stop him playing. And early on in the game, he was combative, he was getting around him. But as the game went on, he got worse. And that's because Bruno got better. And Bruno just started finding those little pockets like he does. Finds those pockets that you can't keep up with him. I personally don't think he's the type of player we need to be looking for, if I'm honest with you. Last season, last summer, yes, because of where we're at, but where we are right now, you got to think to yourself, why would Chelsea let him go? Why would they want to get rid of him? There's clearly something about him that they want to get rid of. He's come through their academy. He's gone on loan. He's got into the England squad at Palace, but he's come back and he still isn't hitting the mark. There's something not quite right there. So why should we sign him? Is my question. Why should we sign him? Why would we sign somebody that Chelsea, who are a big club, don't want and are quite happy to get rid of?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think there are better players out there personally. And we've been linked with them. I think we got put in on a tweet about James Maddison. I haven't watched the game, but apparently he looked really, really good today. Yeah, he looked really, really good today. And look, we know he's a quality player anyway. That's just one example. Zaboslai, we did the video on him. There are many others that I'm sure we're looking at that I think would be better options in our midfield than Conor Gallagher, if I'm honest with you. That's just me. So yeah, all right for 10, 15 minutes, but after that, didn't really do too much.
Yeah. And the surprise factor of now as well, if he was to go, he'll command a decent enough fee, and picking him up when he wasn't in the England squad, it made more sense then, and then Eddie Howe could get the best out of him. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd go search wider afield. No.
The one thing I'll say to you boys is that do we want to keep bringing players in that Eddie Howe could make better? He's done it with Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff, all these other players, Miggy. We want players to come in and be ready, like ready-made players that then could take them not just to make them better, but take them to the next level, like to be considered world class. That's what we want our next batch of players to be, because we want to make the next stars. We don't want to go and buy and spend 100 million plus on the star. We want to make the next star. But what we've done is brought like Shaw, Miggy, Murphy up to acceptable standards, like good standards. So we brought them from being like not very good to good standard. But we want players to come in at good standard or great standard and make them outstanding. That's what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, why look, because Conor Gallagher, for example, is going to cost 35 million plus maybe to get him out of Chelsea. They're not going to sell for cheap. So why should we spend that on a player that's not really playing very well for Chelsea and we make him good or okay, like okay or good, where we could go and get someone that's brilliant and could be outstanding or world class in a couple of years' time,
like a Sven Botman or an Isak, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other side of that, then, like those players that Eddie Howe has made who weren't playing to the best of the highest potential to now they are. We should be looking at the option of if we get a good offer that we will consider selling it. Eddie Howe is playing things at the moment the way he's saying, given his sound bites are that he wants to hold on to everyone or almost everyone. So we do need to be flexible. If we get an offer on someone that is, we can get it in another place. So just we'll get into it in squad game.
It's like Chris Wood and John Joe Shelby, isn't it? That's exactly the same. If we get a decent offer for the player, whether that be Miggy, Murphy, Willock, players like that, I think if we get a really good offer, it'd be like, right, okay, might need to think about moving these on, even though he isn't intending to move them on, because money talks, doesn't it?
You see apparently what he said about St. Maximin today after the game.
Oh no,
he's basically Eddie Howe's come out and said that Alan St. Maximin's he's in control of his future. He wants him to stay, but it's up to Alan St. Maximin. That's basically what he said tonight. So if Alan St. Maximin wants to stay, he stays at Newcastle because he wants those players to stay at the club, which is what he said in his press conference. But if Alan St. Maximin wants to leave, if AC Milan offer him Champions League football and a wage packet and guaranteed first team football, and he wants to go, he'll go. But from what I saw today, and Michael Palmer said, he was great. He destroyed Chelsea at times, many a time today. If Alan St. Maximin wants to stay and continue, as he said, to play for Newcastle because he loves playing for the club, he'll still be here next season, no doubt.
You know what we should do? And I know I'm saying this because I know we're doing it. We should get someone like Graham Bailey in to discuss that topic of ASM. So keep an eye out for that in the summer as well.
He's coming.
That should be good fun as well. But are we rounding it off for the night, boys? Are we rounding it off for the season as we go on our summer holiday break and enjoy 20 hours of downtime until we're back tomorrow?
We are back tomorrow.
I think so.
Okay. Well, That's it. Thanks for everyone for sticking with us all through the season from as we bring this one to a close. And thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to all the guests that came on. Thanks to ourselves and the lads, Martin and Richie as well, who were part of the shows and the team. Yeah, just thanks for everyone for sticking with us. And there's only one thing left to say as we bring this season to a close. Say it, Chris.
How'd you like that?
How you like